What if I told you there is one AI tool to rule them all? There is one AI tool I use to use all my other AI tools. And it boosts productivity and creativity and all the other ivities. And it's something you might never have even heard of. But it's the tool I probably use most often throughout my day. What is this tool? Today, we are talking about Superwhisper. You've seen me use this tool all the time. Every time when I'm speaking to ChatGPT or to Cursor or any other app where I am trying to speak to the camera and do something on the screen, I'm probably using Superwhisper because I can't talk and type and think at the same time. I can just speak and it translates. All right, the power of Superwhisper is you fire it up, you just start talking, and when you're done, it takes your words, transcribes them into text, copies them to the clipboard, and then automatically pastes into whatever window you are active in. So for example, over here, I'm in ChatGPT. So if I wanted to ask ChatGPT kind of a long, rambly question, hey chat, I was just wondering, what is the weather like in London today? Because I have heard that it's always kind of rainy in London. I don't know if that's really true. Is London actually a rainy city? In fact, how many days of sun does London actually get per year? And it takes what I just said, processes it, cleans it up just a little bit, adds proper punctuation, and pastes it into my window. And then I can go ask ChatGPT to actually get some results for me. So the beauty of that is if I am in the middle of thinking about something and I'm trying to form a question, I don't have to fully form it so that I can type it in and think about typing and slow myself down and get it out of my brain. And it turns out London receives 4 to 5 hours of sunshine per day. More than I knew. So the other thing that Superwhisper is really great at is if you are doing something creative and you're just kind of in the flow and you're maybe brainstorming, you don't want to have to stop yourself and figure out what you're typing into a well-formed sentence with punctuation and grammar. You want to just kind of talk as you go, and Superwhisper will capture all that. What does this sound like? Vibe coding. It's definitely one of the strengths. You can just vibe code to your heart's delight. Hey, so I am thinking I want to add another app into this website. I want maybe like an app where I drag the cursor around and it trails like different colored flowers and maybe plays sort of musical notes that correspond to the different colors of the flowers. And as I drag across the screen, it kind of leaves a trail of these flowers and music. Can you do that for me, please? Yes. And of course, one of the things I use it most often for is in ChatGPT. Really almost anything I'm doing in there if I have a question, but definitely if I'm trying to create an image, because that really allows me to sort of ramble and think about what image I'm looking for and be a little bit more creative rather than just focusing on getting the words out. Okay, chat, could you make me an image of an adorable giraffe who is just out of the park and he's really excited because he's never gotten to go down the slide before. And, today's his first day and he's a little nervous because he's worried it might be too tall, but then he remembers he's a giraffe and he's used to heights. So he's at the playground and he is just very excited. Oh, okay. I love that. That is perfect. I've been using Superwhisper for probably 2 months or so now, and I would say 90% of the time I use it just in speech to text. I'm not looking for any extra processing. I don't need it to turn my speech into an email or a message or a summarization of notes. But if you like that, it's got all of that. You can find it at superwhisper.com. It is unfortunately only available for Mac and iPhone right now. I think they're working on a Windows version, but TBD. So let's see how it works. I have a page opened up here on Notion, and I'm going to fire up Superwhisper and just give you the first rough cut, the way that I usually use it. So you usually kick it off by hitting Option Spacebar. That's the default hotkey, but you can change that to anything you want. Hey, Superwhisper, I just wanted to give a demo of how you translate what I'm saying to just regular text and then paste it into a document for me. use that same hotkey to stop transcribing or stop recording, and it will take what you said, turn it into text, and paste it into the application that you are currently working in. So you can see right here, hey, Superwhisper, I just wanted to give a demo of how you translate what I'm saying to just regular text and then paste it into a document for me. So you see that it kind of removed some of my filler words, my stammering. It gave correct punctuation and capitalization to what I was saying. Superwhisper has multiple modes. So if I wanted to create something a little bit formal or a note or a message out of this, it could handle that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about pricing. You can download this for free and use it. It will have limited LLMs available and limited minutes on some of the more premium LLMs. We'll get to those in a minute, but you can just use this for free. That's how I've been using it up until now. But I did upgrade so I could film this video and kind of show you some of the more advanced features. If you want to upgrade to the Pro model, they do offer a student discount. Otherwise, it is $849 per month, $84.99 per year, or you can get a lifetime pass for $249.99 as of the time of this recording. So some of the add-ons that you get, you can use your own API key if you have an AI that you want to interact with using Superwhisper. You get unlimited use of cloud and local AI models. We'll get to that in a minute. Translate any language to English. So if you are more comfortable speaking in a different language, you can just go on about your day and it will translate it to English before it performs further processing on your speech. You can transcribe audio and video files, which you can't do with the free version, and you get priority support. So let's take a look at what this means. If you go up to the little triangle menu icon here and go into settings, the Superwhisper settings menu is a little bit dense and can be kind of hard to understand at first, but that just means there's a lot here. So I am in Pro. If you have the free version, I think you have 3 different modes available to you, and you might be able to create a custom one, but you're not going to have all of these options. I don't think you can create as many as you might like. So each mode you can go into by clicking on it. This is the name of the mode, default. You can click on that name and change it to anything you want. I'm setting that up just to use my voice and just do a straight voice to text translation. And you'll see an option here for which model you want to use. If you're using the free version, I think you only have a couple of options. And one of them, I think this turbo option, you might be limited to about 15 minutes of use. But the standard one is pretty good. I've been using it for a couple months and not really noticing any problems. But you can take a look at all the different models that are available. Not all of these models are available if you're on the free account, and they're adding more all the time. They've got a medical one, so that could be really useful if you're in the medical field. Some of them are cloud-based. Some of them you do download to your computer. It might be a little bit faster to process, or if you're working offline. I like that they show the speed and accuracy scalings of these. So default is just speech to text, but where you get the more interesting ones, you might want to set up a message one. This one would be if you're trying to send kind of a more informal, quick message to somebody. And here's where the menu gets a little bit confusing, but it actually makes sense once you understand what it's asking. So you can see it's got 2 different models. The voice model is the model that is listening to your speech input and translating it into English text. The model up here then takes that text and does any post-processing on it. So like if I am just saying, hey, Joe, do you want to meet for lunch maybe next week? This model will take that speech and turn it into text. And this model will take that text and might add punctuation and capitalization. So you can see there's several options available. They have an email setting, a note-taking setting, they have a meeting one, and there's this mode called Super, which says that it will intelligently adapt to your current application context to provide the most relevant text formatting and assistance. I have played around with this just a little bit, and I've gotten real mixed results, but we'll give that a shot. So with the super mode, it is supposed to be context aware. So it would be aware of the context window that you are pasting into. Supposedly, you can give it commands while you're dictating, basically, like make this text title case, convert selection to uppercase, format my selected text as bullet point. Okay, and the last mode to talk about is the custom mode. And that's one that you can set up yourself with a prompt. So you would almost think of this as if you've ever created your own GPT or fine-tuned a model, giving it a little prompting ahead of time. This allows you to do that in a sort of on-the-fly kind of way. For example, I'm always trying to come up with titles for my YouTube videos. And let's say that I wanted to have that all just built right in here so I could just say my idea and have it give me some titles real quickly. So let's give it a prompt for that, and let's try to use Superwhisper inside of Superwhisper. You are an upbeat and positive title generator for YouTube titles. Take the input and return 3 sort of fun and positive and kind of happy sounding YouTube titles based on what the content of the message is. All right, so that was kind of a messy prompt, but I'm going to leave it alone just so we can see what it might do with that. So here's where I do want to put a little thought into the models. The voice model that I'm using, let's take a look at those. Ultra is their cloud-based, supposedly super fast, super accurate. Why I wouldn't use that, I don't know. The way you do that is you go back into modes. You find that custom one that you've created. I said I'm going to use the Ultra model. And then for the actual title creation, this is asking which model do you want to use for that title generator that I set up. Let's use GPT-4o Mini. You can mute and pause audio while recording. I don't ever need to mess with that. Record from system audio. That could be handy for some cases. I don't need that for this. Identify speakers. This is that if you're using the meeting mode, you could set it up so that it could identify each speaker. And we will get to these in a minute. So I think we have everything set up the way we want. All right, so let me go back into the Notion document and I'm gonna fire up Superwhisper, but this time I'm going to have to change modes. There's several ways you can do that. I will show you the easiest one. It is just right there on the little waveform panel that pops up. Right here. So I'm doing a video on Superwhisper and I'm just trying to give an overview of its features and sort of how it works. So you see I went in here, selected custom. Oh, well, that was super fast. And it's giving me 3 titles. I like that it gave me emojis. All right, so that's exactly what I want out of a custom dictation system, right? Now, let's say that I come back to this tomorrow and I can't remember what I was even talking about. Go back into Superwhisper and you can go up to history. And it will keep a recording of all of your voice memos. So you can always go back to the source. You can play it and listen to it. So I'm doing a video on... All right, so that was the actual voice recording that went in, and this is what came out. Now, if you have the pro version, you can't do this on the free version, but if you have the pro version, you can right click, you can process it again, and you can ask it to do it in a different mode. Let's say I wanted to make a note of it. Let's do that. So that's a great example of what the notes might look like. Obviously, what I said was not really detailed enough to have anything useful. But it is nice that, like, in case you ever find yourself recording something and you are accidentally in a mode you didn't mean to be in, and you don't want to repeat yourself and say it again, you can always come in here and reprocess it. And if you want to find the files on your computer, you click this little file button and it pulls up all the recordings. Also worth noting, if you are accidentally in the wrong window, like sometimes I will be maybe in a Notion doc and I will start speaking, and as I'm talking, I have to go click into a website or something to go look something up. I finish speaking, hit the hotkey to finish processing, and then I forget to go back into my Notion document. So it tries to paste it into the website that I'm on, and there's no editable field. So, oh, is it gone forever? No, you could just go back into your history here and find the recording and cut and paste that. Go find your correct document and paste it back in. Okay, one more thing that's worth noting. You can add apps. Say, every time I open up messages, I want you to automatically go into this mode. You could add a website here, you could add multiple apps, just so that it automatically switches modes for you whenever you're in that app. All right, so let's try some of the different modes and see just the differences between their results. Let's try first just in voice processing mode. All right, so I need to remind myself, I have a list of things I need to do next week that I just keep putting off and I have to remember to do. So I need to remember, I need to call somebody about the sprinklers. They need to be repaired. I need to get the air conditioning looked at. I need to book tickets for a vacation in the summer. I need to send out a group email to some of my collaborators to just get some of those details narrowed down. And oh gosh, there was one other thing I needed to remember to do. I needed to buy dog food. I don't want the puppy to starve. All right. Okay, this is pretty good. However, I do see I want the puppy to starve. I really don't want the puppy to starve. But I do tend to speak very softly sometimes and mumble. So 99% of the time I've used this, it has been fine. All right, so that is just voice mode. Let's see what happens if we reprocess that in different modes. Just for the sake of time, let's just reprocess it in the history so we can kind of try it again each time. We're going to change the mode first. And I think that's Option Shift K. Yes. We're going to change the mode to message and then reprocess this. And you can see it's in message. All right, so if I wanted to send myself a message about this, this is what it would look like. You need to remember, call that the sprinklers, air conditioning, book tickets. And this is interesting. Oh gosh, there was one other thing. I don't want the puppy to starve. Excellent. So it even picked that up and fixed it. All right, what's the next one? Let's try this as a note. All right, nice. Wow, okay, so I gave myself a task list, call about sprinklers, buy dog food, action items, call and schedule, draft and send, purchase enough dog food for puppy to maintain health. All right, good, that's important. What's the next mode? Let's try a meeting. Let's say I had a meeting with myself and thought, self, here's some things I need you to take care of next week. And you can see each one of these takes a varying amount of time to process. So that's that whichever model is selected. I could go in and select a faster model if I wanted, or better processing, depending on the outcome I was looking for. Interesting, that's not what I expected. Okay, so this is like meeting minutes, including calling someone about sprinklers, getting air conditioning. They mentioned needing to buy dog food for their puppy. Okay, you guys, I promise our dog is really quite well fed. All right, so a couple other things to note. You can always come in here and cut and paste the outcome. You can go into the file system. You can play back the original voice recording. All right, so I need to remind myself. But you can also go over here to this side menu and you can kind of see the metadata that tells you exactly what happened in the processing, what the models used were, in case you're sort of after the fact noticing maybe that one model worked better than the other. But also down here, you can see the prompt that they used to create meeting minutes for this. So their instructions to the LLM were to summarize the following meeting transcript. So if you find yourself liking one of their prompts, but wishing it maybe would do something a little bit different, or you want to create your own custom mode, you could go in here and take a look at their prompts, maybe grab it and tweak it a little bit to kind of suit your needs. All right, so that was Superwhisper. That was kind of a lot, but that's because it has so many features. It can do so many nuanced things. But like I said, I mainly use it for just straight voice dictation. And I use it across all the LLMs. I use it for image creation and vibe coding and just kind of chatting with ChatGPT about ideas or questions that I have. I know a lot of our apps have built-in dictation features, but for whatever reason, I have never patterned to use them. They kind of either, I don't like their outcome or I don't like the interface or something. But Superwhisper, I can just use it across all apps, all websites, all applications, and it is like a superpower to say the thing I'm thinking about instead of typing everything in. I think that sometimes slows me down. All right, I think that wraps it up. I can't possibly think of anything else to talk about in Superwhisper except to say, go try it. I think you'll love it. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.